Like an accountant.
Well, it is kind of like accounting for sure, yeah, which is great. Now, what I'm going to do is, now, are you able to adjust the tilt of your phone right there to kind of bring your head up a little bit towards the top? There we go. Okay, a little bit more. Yeah, right to the tippy top of your phone screen. If you can do that. No, you're going the wrong direction.
Shit.
The other way around. There you go. So what we're doing is you can't see this, but I got a split screen, and I don't want this going on for you.
Yeah.
So all right, we're looking pretty good here, and we are actually Facebook Live. So hey everybody, Facebook Live. We are with WillemPhilipsen. He is a producer in the Netherlands, and he is staying up nice and late. It's almost 9 o'clock already on a Friday night. Party. 10, actually, almost 10. Yeah, why do I think it's 5? I'm thinking Britain time instead of mainland Europe time.
Yeah.
Which is cool. All right. Well, great. I think we are about ready to go. If you have, and you're watching, and you have a question for Willem, you can ask that question. We will acknowledge it after, and we're getting a little short here on the. Oh wow, Marcus Aurelius Anderson is watching the Facebook Live right now. I can't wait for your interview, Marcus. It's going to be very similar to this one. Marcus Willem, he's the one that I was telling you about his talk. He had I don't know a full recovery, but a very dramatic recovery. So very similar in line. He is watching right now. I just love it when other people are watching this, and I don't think that they're watching it yet, and they are. So this is just awesome. This is so cool. All right, I am good to go. I am pumped. Any questions that you have for me? Any questions, comments, concerns? That before we actually hit the record button on the recorder here, Willem.
No, I'm good.
You ready to go?
Let's go.
Right. Awesome. Yeah. Let's do it. Okay. All right. Well, we are live in 3, 2. We are live with WillemPhilipsen. Willem, are you ready to talk?
I'm ready to talk, Nathan. I'm here.
WillemPhilipsen started out as a professional session guitar player for several well-known Dutch bands and artists. However, he had to reinvent himself after he became partially paralyzed due to a stroke. Philipsen, now a composer and producer, also returned to the stage as a motivational speaker at TEDx Rotterdam, as a matter of fact. Willem, welcome to the talk.
Thanks. Great to be here.
Your talk is called How My Broken Brain Made Me Reconnect to Life. Again, it was at TEDx Rotterdam. I love how you walk out on the stage with your cane, and you said, my right hand is like, let's party, but my left hand is like, let's do Netflix and chill tonight. And take us just behind the talk.
Yeah, well, actually, the thing is that I got to hear that I had to do a TEDx talk only 3 weeks in advance, so I had to come up with something really fast. So I didn't get to put in my 50 hours, actually.
Well, it's all good, and I love about your talk. It's really this is the kind of talk I don't know that you can really prepare for this kind of a talk, because this is something that you came through. It's a talk about what happened to you, the aftermath of it, what inspired you to really literally come back to life. I mean, you were technically alive, but to really live again. And what I love about your talk is you actually show us, the brain science behind what's going on or not going on, or what's going on that shouldn't really be going on.
Yeah.
In your brain. You actually show us brain scans of your brain where those parts of your brain, if I remember correctly, are removed. Yep. And yet there's activity being shown on those brain scans. So I'm getting really, really excited. I'm hijacking the interview. Please just tell us about some of those things so that everybody knows what I'm talking about before they see it for themselves.
Okay, so, sorry.
Yeah.
just getting off topic. But
Yeah, no problem at all. No, I'm just digging in because I watched that talk, and this is really fascinating stuff that I've actually never seen before.
So yeah, like my talk starts out with a short clip of me on stage as a guitar player, as I used to be, and then it goes to complete stop, because that is actually what happened in my life when I had a stroke at 23, which is pretty young to have a stroke actually. But so my life kind of ended right there and then. I became paralyzed on the left side of my body, which is kind of heavy.
At 23.
At 23,
At 23, you've got this amazing career. You're touring with the band. You're living the life.
Yeah.
And it's not just your left arm, but it's also your left leg.
Yeah, it's like totally split in half. Like the whole left side of my body was totally paralyzed. And then you have to relearn everything. You have to relearn getting dressed in the morning, making a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, whatever. You name it, you have to relearn it. And but what I realized was I need to find a new purpose in life for myself, because I couldn't make music the way I was used to. And for me, that was, I really found that in sports, because sports also help you to get back more connections in the brain, and to get healthier.
And you mentioned swimming, I believe?
Yeah.
So you
swimming, yeah.
You basically said I needed to figure out something to do so that you wouldn't gain, too much weight as you normally, would in that situation. And so you picked swimming. What was that like? What was it like getting back in the water? Was it, I would imagine it'd be frightening at first. Yeah, how did you cope with that?
Yeah, well, I started out in the rehab center. As a part of my therapy, we started out swimming. So it was really weird to have to relearn how to swim again, because it's a totally different stroke. Because normally you swim with two arms, and now I have to do it with one arm and one leg. So you have to learn how to not keep going in circles.
That was my question. I'm putting it together. When you're paddling a boat from just the one side, you're going to go around and around in circles. So how do you actually not do that?
Yeah, well, it's a stroke which you can you do it the other way around as you normally do. So normally with a breaststroke, you push the water away to the sides, and now you do it inward.
Okay.
So that makes for that you don't go in circles.
So the natural stroke direction and angle, you just reverse that, and then your foot's doing what feet do. And every other stroke, you're switching the direction of your hand or the curvature, I would imagine. Yeah.
Well, actually, we started out with a normal breaststroke, and then me and my buddy, because I swim with a buddy, we do it together, and then we evolved to doing the crawl. I don't know how you call it, but when you do this.
Mm-hmm. Freestyle, I guess. That looks like a freestyle. I'm trying to look at your stroke here on the video, so that looks like a freestyle to me.
Okay.
So you're alternating directions and strokes so that you're not going around in circles, basically.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, we have a river in the city here, and we were invited to join. It's an open water swim, actually. So that was kind of weird for me to experience for the first time, to go into open water and swim again, because open water is really cold.
I would imagine. So how do you do that? I mean, this is amazing because I mean, there's a story in that, not just getting back in the water, not just selecting swimming, but then, as you mentioned in your talk, that one day you woke up and you wanted to do this open swim of 3 kilometers. And you trained. I'm sorry, Talk Universe. I'm giving you kind of the compressed version here, but 18 months you successfully did that swim after training for 18 months.
Yeah, we trained for 18 months, 3 times a week, and we even struck up a deal with the swimming pool manager who would let us swim for 2 hours in our own lane. So that was awesome.
Wow, so you're training. I've got to ask you this, Willem. I mean, thinking of where you were and how daunting and overwhelming and frightening, just getting your toe back in the water or being lowered into the water or whatever, how frightening and how difficult. And then fast forward to, I don't know if it was 2 years later or 2.5 or 3 years later, but you conquered this dream that literally brought you back to life. Because you mentioned in the talk that you're questioning the value of life, your situation, and you became, you transcended. You had a transformational experience, not just getting in the water. I mean, that would have been transformational enough, but then you achieved this goal of the 3 kilometer swim. Can you describe to us what it felt like to have gotten out of the river along with everybody else or after everybody else after conquering the swim, and what was that moment like for you?
Yeah, well, that was awesome. That was like one of the most amazing moments in my life because actually we finished last, of course. And all the other swimmers that were already at the finish line jumped back into the water. Wow. To greet us, and they were like, "This is awesome! This guy," because I was the first one to do it, or actually the first handy-capable to do it, and that was amazing. It was like, and I've never felt happier.
Well, and it sounds like it was transformational, not just for you, Willem, but for all of them. And I didn't even think of that. So they jumped back in the water, they swam with you, and you all finished together.
Yeah, that's true. And that was like, it made me realize that, with doing these kinds of events, I could change the way people are thinking about, actually the perspective on people with a handicap.
Well, I think you did. and I love that word, handy-capable. That's the first I've heard that. Why not use that? Why not use that? Because I mean, it sounds almost patronizing in terms of overusing this, but I mean, it is inspiring. And the stuff that you talked about in your talk is the stuff that no matter, we could be marathon runners and totally abled in all the traditional ways, yet the statistics say that a huge proportion of us are dealing with mental issues, depression, clinical stuff, diagnosed or not diagnosed, and disorders. It's almost like the disorder has become the norm in our high-paced world. So when you finished that 3 kilometer swim and your spirit infected everybody else, and it really became about all of you in that swim, not even about your story, it became everybody's story, and you allowed other people to share that triumph with you. I mean, it's amazing to me to try to get my mind around that. Anything else you'd like to say about that?
Well, actually, after the 3K, we got it into our minds that you're only as good as your last accomplishment, right? Like in showbiz and in sports, that's kind of true. And so we took it upon ourselves to go even further, and we found this event in Spain, in Navia. It's a really small mountain village in the north of Spain, and they have like a big ass river. It's really huge. And almost 60 years now, they have got this competition where almost people from all over the world go there to fight the river, by swimming in it.
Mm-hmm.
And so we were like, yeah, we got to do this. And we wound up doing the 5K swim in Spain.
5K. So you pretty much doubled the length of what you did in the river in Amsterdam. Rotterdam, excuse me. See, there I went. That's the American doesn't know his geography here. Hey, we've been enjoying this conversation with WillemPhilipsen. He gave a TEDx Rotterdam talk, How My Broken Brain Made Me Reconnect to Life. We're summarizing all that. You've got to see it yourself. I'll let you know in just a few minutes. But right now, we'll be right back in a moment with the Blitz Round. And we're back with WillemPhilipsen. It is time for the Blitz Round, where I ask Willem a series of either-or questions related to the preparation and the performance of his TEDx Rotterdam talk. Willem, are you ready?
Ready.
All right. And given what he said already, you had a whopping 21 days to prepare for this. So we're going to keep that in mind. Most people have more time than that to prepare. And I think based on that, I think I know the answer to the first question, and so does Talk Universe. Were you selected to speak, or did you apply?
I was selected.
Obviously. And you're going to give this talk, and you have 3 weeks to do it. Well, are you a memorizer, an improviser, or a blender?
I'm a bit of a blender, because I memorize a lot, but I improvise jokes.
Okay. Did you have, for this talk, did you have nerves, or were you in the zone, or neither, or both?
Both. I was in the zone, but I was also a bit nervous, because, it's a TEDx is like forever. Like out there.
Well, it can be if you don't know what you're doing. It's a long time up on that carpet.
Yeah.
So, Willem, what's a tip, a technique, or a tool that helped you?
For me, what helped me was to have my opening totally in there and my ending. To just have that on lockdown to really rip it up,
Yeah, well, bookending it is definitely the way to go, for sure. And especially if you have, if they select you to speak and tell you only have 3 weeks, that's where to start. Get the start and get the ending down, and then work your way into the middle from there. So it is a performance, Willem. What's the most unexpected, strange, or just plain weird thing that happened during or right before your talk?
Actually, the remote clicker of the slides wasn't working properly. Just before the speaker before me was having trouble with it, and it was like, damn.
Yeah, well, the curse of the clicker. That's not the first time. That's not the 10th time that I've heard people say that. We've been enjoying this talk with WillemPhilipsen. That was the Blitz Round, and I want to let you know where you can go to see this talk. It's absolutely amazing. It's called How My Broken Brain Made Me Reconnect to Life, TEDx Rotterdam. You can go to our show notes page at bethetalk.com, and you can also find out more about Willem at his website, which is novocainemusic.com, correct? novocainemusic.com, and we'll have a link to that in the show notes. In just a minute, we'll be back with Willem with the 15-second final word of advice. And we're back with WillemPhilipsen. It is time for the final word of advice for Talk Universe.
Okay, so my advice is actually have a good opening joke. Always start with a good opening joke or a thing, just to have the audience relax and, be at ease with you.
WillemPhilipsen, thanks so much for inspiring us and really being a transformational agent for everybody listening to this and sharing your wisdom today with Talk Universe.
Thank you.
And that's a wrap. Thank you so much. Great interview.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
That was great.
Yeah. Well, hey, let's see. I got, there was something that you said, and then it kind of blew up in a good way. The thumbs and all of that. I'm looking on this little software thing. There are all these little pop-ups, and I'm looking for the little pop-up to see if anybody wrote any comments or questions. Where the heck are the pop-ups for this thing? I'm looking for these. Come on. LaDonna says hello. Oh, hello, LaDonna. I didn't see that. Now I can acknowledge this stuff now. That's good. Overlays window. There's a panel, though. Where the heck? Window. There it is. Comments and reactions. That's what we want. Oh, wow. Okay, so David Paul says, inspired by Willem's story, having been diagnosed with muscular dystrophy, swimming is my daily exercise. So
right.
People coming out of the woodwork and responding and commenting. Thank you for your comments. And, sorry that I just don't break the wall during the recording of the podcast to, acknowledge every thumbs up or whatnot. But man, awesome. And if you're watching this and we're not recording right now, you can comment anyway because Willem's going to be watching this thread. You can also go to BeTheTalk.com. We're about 6 weeks out from the podcast going live this episode, but you'll want to steer other people to that episode. You want to comment as well on that thread, and he'll be monitoring that. I'm giving Willem all kinds of work to do here that he didn't know about. I love it. Well, we're going to go offline, everybody. Going to have a final word, a private word with Willem. Make sure that we debrief, and it's not really private if we do this on Facebook Live. So thanks so much for being awesome, and we'll see you on the next interview today.